Okay, good morning, everyone. How are you? How is everything? We are now waiting for everyone to come in. So, until everyone comes in, I just want to remind a few announcements. Number one, there's January 17th is the last day during the missing homework and quizzes and anything else you have missing, like the winter packet you didn't do yet. January 17th is the last day. Number two, you need to always review. Okay, so after we finish, please review because this semester is a long semester. So we want to make sure that you always review, maximum half an hour, not more, maybe twice a week, 3 times a week. Like that, when you review, when you come back for the quiz or the project or homework assignment, whatever you have for the class, it won't be a hassle. Okay, and also for your other classes, that would be great because you won't be stressed out. This semester you may have formal exams, you may have different activities, situation or whatever. You don't want to leave to the end and get stressed out when you have a project or a quiz. Okay, so keep that in mind and keep in mind the due dates that are always announced in the session and also on Course Novia. Course Novia will be a supplement for the sessions. Always go back to Course Novia. There are the PowerPoints that I always share, the video and everything else. Okay. Um, and if you have any questions, send me on the Course Novia or on the WhatsApp group. Yes, if you do not have the WhatsApp group, please add yourself to it. It's very important. We communicate with the students there, with your colleagues, and with me. Okay, if anything is urgent, you right away, communicate with me. Okay, great. So right now, what we will do is we will wait for the people to come in, for other students at Sociology to come in and admit. Okay, I'll admit them. While I admit them, I will share the winter packet and we will start with the main ideas to review. Today we're going to talk about mediated mode and the other activities like sociological imagination that we still did not review yet. Okay, so let us start with that. Okay, so right now we are going to share the winter packet. Let's make sure it's okay. Let's share it here. Yes. So it's right here. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, so I hope you can see it. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is, yes, that's great. Nuran is here and I hope everyone else will come in. Okay. Okay, good morning, Nuran. How are you? How is everything going?
Fine, Miss, fine.
Okay, great. I want you to open up the camera so it can be attended today. And we're gonna review today the review packet, the winter packet, okay? And the main points of the winter packet. So I want you to open up the camera and you can help me out here. Hopefully everyone else will come in soon. Yes, let's see if, okay.
Miss, can I open it in 5 minutes, please?
Yes, no problem. Okay. Okay, so until then, I'm going to talk about the winter, we're going to talk about the statistics, okay, in the winter packet. So this is the activity, fun activity with statistics. We did the M&Ms in terms one, and for sure, if you did the winter packet, this is a fun activity. So you have a garden filled with different types of flowers. The garden has 4 types of flowers: rose, jasmine, gardenia, tulip. There are 20 roses, 50 jasmines, 30 gardenias, and 20 tulips. Okay? You collect a number of flowers, and the set is 2, 5, 5, 10. Okay, that's the set. So obviously this is the set from each type of flower. Okay, so you have 2, 5, 5, 10 in order. So you have 2 roses, 5 jasmines, 5 gardenias, and 10 tulips. Great. So in this case, what is the mean? Okay, so the mean obviously is the average number of the set of numbers you have. Here the set of numbers are 2, 5, 5, 10. So basically we add them up, okay? And so the sum would be 5 plus 5 is 10, 10, 10 is 20, 22. 22 divided by 4 because there are 4 numbers in the set. So you divide by how many number there are in the set, okay? So 20 divided by 4 is 5, right? Median is the middle number. So you have 4 here, so the middle is an even, okay? So it's the 5, 5 in the middle. So what you do is you add the 2 in the middle, 5 plus 5 is 10, okay? And then you divide by 2, which is 5. So the median would be 5, right? Mode is the most common number, so it's the most number used in the set. So for example, in this case, 2, 5, 5, 10 would be 5, right? Okay, so here the mean, median, mode is pretty straightforward. Okay, so it's not that hard. Okay, so let's do it again. So mean would be 2 plus 5, right, which is 7. 5 plus 10 is 15, and we said, or we can do it easier, just 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 plus 10 is 20, 22. Okay, and then 22 divided by 4, which equals 4. Here's putting here equals, so 22 divided by 4 would be, let's do it here in the calculator just to make sure. 5.5, okay? Median, as we said, is the number in the middle. In this case, it's an even number, so you have to add them up, okay? And then it would be 10, and then divide by 2, which would be 5. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward, 5. Mode is 5 because it's the most recurring number in the set of numbers. Okay, so I give you another example for the mode. For example, if you have 2, 6, 6, 7, then it would be 6, right? It's the most recurring number in the set of numbers. Okay. You collect another bundle and the set is 4, 4, 8. So 4, 4, 4, 8. Here, obviously, the mode is pretty simple. It's 4, right? It's the most recurring number, so it's 4. So let's put 4. The median and the mean, so let's go to mean right now. The mean is the sum of numbers, and then you divide by how many numbers are in the set. So basically, this is the average, right, number from the set of numbers. So it's 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 8. And let's see what the sum would be here. Just really quickly. 20, okay? So 20 divided by 4, which would be 5, okay? Median is the middle. This is 4, right? So because it's 4, the middle, we have 2 in the middle, not 1, okay? So 4 plus 4 is 8, divided by 2 is 4, okay? So pretty simple. Now let's move on. You want to know how probable is it to collect 1 rose from the garden. Go back to M&M activity and probability in week 4 as review, and use the information above about the garden. Okay, so we want to know how probable it is to get the 1 rose from the garden, right? How probable is it from the different flowers there are? Okay, good morning. How are you, Nuran? How is everything going?
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning. Okay, I know it's early in the morning, so we're all fresh and ready to start. And I hope everything's going well with you. Okay, and Right now we're doing statistics. So in the winter packet, you did it, and it was a great job. So if you can share with us of how we can do C. You want to know how probable is it to collect one rose from the garden? Go back to M&M activity and probability in week 4 as review and use the information above about the garden. So how can you do it? Yes, do you remember?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me the steps and write it down. If you remember. Okay.
Miss, can I see the previous page because she has the rose and jasmine and
Yes, for sure. Okay. So let's go back, let's go up. Good job. And here's the garden, okay? So you have 20 roses, 50 jasmines, 30 gardenias, and 20 tulips.
But Miss, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
In the Christmas pack, when I saw only 3 and not 4. So
It was only 3. Okay, why don't we do this?
I will do it now.
Okay, great. Excellent job. If you can do it, then you can tell me the
Okay.
steps. That would be great. Okay.
The question they need to make what يعني remove rows or what?
Okay, so how probable is it to get to 1 rose? That's the question. From the set of so you go into the garden, and the garden has 20 roses, 50 jasmines, 30 gardenias, and 20 tulips. And then you go into the garden and you choose 1 rose. How probable is it to choose 1 rose out of all the different flowers there are? So that's the question.
We will make the 20 over the sum of numbers. Sum of all numbers.
Okay, excellent. So you mix. What do you do? Tell me. Sorry. So you. So basically, what you do is you
And it
add.
will be
Excellent.
the total of it will be 120.
Okay, good job. And
Okay.
then what do?
So
You
it will be 20 over 120.
excellent job. Okay, that's great. That's it. Okay, good job. Good job. That's it. Okay. So what about the next question? So we have 20 over 120, right? And that would be the
Yeah.
that would be how the probability, right? Excellent job. Okay, so that is 0.16. Okay, or we can round it up to 0.17, and that would be 17%. How probable it is. Okay, excellent. Now the next one for the next question, you want to know how probable is it to collect 1 jasmine from the garden. Okay, go back to MMQT probability in week 4 as if you use the information above about the garden. So let's see who's here. Thank you, Noran. That was great. Excellent job. Let's
Okay, thanks.
yes, Muhammad Salah is here. So, how are you, Muhammad Salah? I want you to open up your camera and your audio. If you're listening, yes, and so you can share with us. Send me a message if you're listening to me, okay? That would be great. Okay, so right now, in this case, what we would do is go back to jasmine, right? And we would see how many jasmines there are in the garden. So let's go up. Yes. Okay. Jasmine is 50, right? So in this case, we would do 50 over 120. Is that correct? Yes? So 50 over 120, and that would be the probability. so okay, 41.6, right? So we can say like 41.6%, or we can write it 42, okay? Or 42%, right? Probable to get a jasmine, okay? Okay. So I think that's a great answer, okay? And that's what we want. So let's move on to the next one. So this is the one we did in the semester. And obviously you would get an M&M bag and you would see how many there are in the bag, okay? Like we did, so which type did you get? How many are there in the bag? What is your favorite color of the bag? And then afterwards, pretty straightforward. See how probably your favorite color is from the M&M bag you have to choose. So if it's red, blue, or green, you would choose that, and then you would count how many numbers there are in the color that you like, your favorite color, and then you would divide it by the total number, right, of M&Ms there are in the bag with your color, okay? And so that would be how probable it is to get your favorite color. Okay, so here, true or false? Random sample in this case is randomly choosing the colors from the M&M in bag with no procedure process. Is that true or false? What do you think, Imran? Yes?
True.
Excellent, true. It is, because you're randomly choosing, right? So the key term here is random. Okay, good job. So basically, you have a sample. Okay, so you have the M&M bag, and you want to get a certain sample for your research or for whatever you want to do, and you want to get a random sample. So you randomly choose from the bag, and that's how you get a random sample. Okay, so there's no like kind of any kind of in color or in shape or whatever. Okay, excellent. Okay. So right now we talked about last time the different points from Karl Marx and Max Weber. I want you, if you did not do it, to make sure you read the article. It's a very nice article. And in the winter packet, I want you to write the different points here. Okay. So for each paragraph, write one point. It's very important. So, and here, last time we talked about Spencer and his approach to sociology with the giraffe, okay? So today we're going to talk about sociological imagination from the real world. As a change for today, I was thinking, why don't we share the video that we saw last semester, or we can have like a small video about right, okay? So I'm going to leave you with the picture here, okay? And the question is, before we start the video, how can we have this picture with sociological imagination? Okay, so let us right now upload the video. Okay, let's see if the interconnection is going well. So we can. Okay, so I want you to think about the different, concepts we talk about sociological imagination. Obviously, there's a Christmas tree, there are the cars, there's the snow. Okay, so it's not opening up. Let me see if it opens up in another kind of form here. So we have one more minute and then we'll talk about sociological imagination. Okay. Yes, it's there. So okay, let's put it here. Yes. Share. Okay, so here obviously we're going to put sociological imagination. Right. Okay, yes. So this is it. Just a small reminder, it's like a small video. And I think this is a nice one. Okay. So let's watch this one. Before we do, okay, no, I want you to keep in mind the picture, and then after watch the video, we'll talk about it. Okay, so let's put it in full screen here.
So beautiful.
Hi folks, welcome to my discussion on the sociological imagination. This is a repeat of an older version of the same video, so if you've watched the video titled The Sociological Imagination
Sorry, this is
on
the
my
wrong
channel,
one.
this is the same material. I'm just updating a lot.
Okay, this is the wrong one. So 1 second, I will get you the one we want. Okay, so this is the one we want, right? Yes. This is it. Okay.
We all have imagination. It lets us be creative and envision life in a new way. But did you know that there is something called the sociological imagination? In sociology, to understand one's own self, we must understand the relationship between self and society. The concept of the sociological imagination was presented in 1959 by C. Wright Mills in his famous book of the same title, where he states, "The sociological imagination enables us to grasp history and biography and the relations between the two within society. That is its task and its promise. The concept is to understand the distinction between a person's troubles and public issues. At what point does something such as unemployment or trouble finding a job shift from being a personal problem to a public issue? If one person is unemployed, that is a personal problem. If 1 million out of 10 million people cannot find employment, that is a public issue." According to Mills, there is an intricate relationship between the individual and society. Whatever a person does is not just because it is of their own choice or personal preference. A behavior as simple as exercise can be looked at from multiple perspectives. For example, exercise can provide health benefits such as lowering blood pressure, maintaining a healthy weight, or send endorphins to help alleviate stress. It can be a social activity such as taking a walk with a group of friends or playing on a sports team. It can increase productivity at work and benefit the company. And it can inspire communities to take action by building walking, biking, and running trails. So, while exercise benefits the individual, it also has a larger purpose in the social world. A person benefits from being surrounded by a community that encourages exercise and makes it easier for a person to do so, but it can also have the opposite effect if a person is surrounded by a community that does not emphasize exercise. Practically any personal behavior can be looked at with a sociological imagination. Let's take this and apply it to the very public issue of obesity in the United States. Or is it a personal trouble? Tough question. Let's figure it out. From the personal perspective, we all need to eat to live, and there are many reasons other than necessity that we gather around food. Celebrations such as birthdays, weddings, funerals, job promotions, and holidays, or just socializing with friends often involves food. What we eat and how much we eat is within our personal control. Or is it? Let's say a person belongs to a family that often gets together for large gatherings. At these gatherings, there are often lots of burgers, chips, cookies, and desserts. Choices are limited for low-fat or healthy options. After eating, the family gathers around a fire, and not much is done in the way of activities such as walking, running, or even a family-friendly game of football. Over time, one realizes that these gatherings are contributing to their growing waistline. Well, we can say that this is a personal trouble. That person is making a conscious choice on what they put into their body and are in control of what they eat. While this may be true to some extent, is it all within a person's control? Our behavior is influenced by others, and in cases such as family gatherings, how might the family react if one chooses not to eat what others are eating? Social acceptance is important, even among our family. We also tend to like similar foods of the people around us. So we could say that we all make personal choices and are responsible for our own behavior, but what we eat and how we spend our time does.
Okay, so obviously here it's a kind of different world. We talked before about more the theory, okay? But here she's talking about the obesity as a social problem. So as you can see, obesity is a social problem in the sense of it's overweight. Okay, so here obviously it's overweight, not in the sense of like, overweight average, in the sense of overweight, really big overweight, that it causes a problem for a person in life. Okay, and she's saying the reasons of why obesity can be caused according to sociological imagination. Okay, so here obviously it's related to society, and obviously here she's giving an example of a family that has a good health, but then afterwards the lifestyle changes, and obviously they start with socializing, family gatherings, the events. They all have they choose different kinds of foods. They stop exercise. So this is part of sociological imagination in the sense of this is all increases the obesity, increases your perception of yourself, obviously. So here you have number one, the food that you eat. If obviously you interact with society and you believe that they increase your weight, so they do, and also you believe that obviously exercise when you don't do it, and that increases it, and you start thinking that maybe people will make fun of me. Um, Maybe I, even if, for example, I wake up in the morning and, I'm really energetic, but I don't like exercise. Do you see? So exercise is hard. Exercise, if these messages come to you from society, and if you give them back to society in this way, according to a sociological imagination, will be affected negatively, right? So this is usually from media, from public issues, from personal troubles you have in life. It all adds up. So it becomes part of your imagination of the world that, I can't do exercise. What's it called? I can't eat well. If I don't eat a salad, if I have to eat a lot. Sometimes it's just this imagination that you have of society, and also the media, right? So you watch a movie, you talk to friends, okay, you watch commercials, right? Maybe even in society, besides the media, you have your family, your friendship, you have the lifestyle, okay, it's lifestyle society that you have. This obviously is affected also sociological imagination of where you come from, your culture. Some cultures, they don't have that issue. They know it's like, for example, it's in India, right? So their imagination of society is more of like, it's more of me, or my tradition, or my culture, or more of everyday life and the lifestyle that shapes my thinking. Okay, so that shapes of how they see food, how they see family and friends. Maybe they don't even think about the interaction between them and others through food or exercise or whatever. Some cultures actually, they don't stress a lot on exercise. Okay, so they don't see in their world, in their social world, they don't see a relationship between exercise and losing weight. Actually, sometimes it's opposite, right? Because they build muscles, and so this is very important. Okay, even in social psychology you can go into that, but here for right in sociological imagination, it makes you see how you shape the society around you, how it gives you messages and how you give it back, really shapes, if you have any social problems, how you deal with it. Okay, so for example, in obesity, then you would try to incorporate from the world that, for example, okay, so what if I didn't do exercise, it's okay. I can do something else, or I can incorporate in my life, something fun. Maybe I can do volleyball on the beach. Okay, and so like that, when you incorporate with fun and you don't think about necessarily losing weight, then it would be a positive in your life, and you would suddenly find, wow, it's a part of lifestyle, and you suddenly lose weight. Okay, or for example, okay, for food or for exercise or whatever, why don't I forget about that and just live normally, right? Okay, so in that sense, that's very important. Or in socializing, in the sense of, why don't I just give a positive perspective on my body image, in the sense of I have a great body, or people don't care, right? This would affect you positively, obviously. Okay, so in this sense, you won't let negative messages or a negative perception on society. This is part of sociological imagination. Okay, or for example, when you go to occasions, if you really want to lose weight and you don't have that issue, you have more that, I don't want to gain these few kilos, or I don't want to gain these few pounds. So what I do, I go to a wedding, I go to a funeral, and in that sense, I don't have to relate to it to actual food. I can just drink coffee or tea, or I can just get a nice, fruit, and food is great, in that sense. So you, in the sense of a person needs to think positively in the sociological sense. So you need to incorporate these messages in a positive way so that it doesn't affect your body image negatively. And also this is way to the obesity issue here. Okay, so do you see how the obesity social problem is related to sociological imagination in this sense? Okay. Um, so any questions? Yes? Okay, I'm gonna share with you just one more minute, and then I want you to talk to me about how we can relate obesity to sociological imagination. Okay?
Does not happen in a vacuum. Not that we blame family for choices, but that choices are influenced by the people around us. Let's take this a step further and ask ourselves what else may influence a person becoming obese. And when does a personal problem turn into a larger social issue? According to the Center for Disease Control, approximately 35% of the United States adult population is considered obese. That percentage bumps up to 69% when we consider all adults who are also overweight. Social structures that contribute to obesity include food deserts, which are areas of the United States that do not have access to healthy, whole, and fresh foods and can be found in both urban and rural areas. These are places where it is difficult to grow healthy food locally, and there is little to no access to local markets that would carry such items. Then there are government subsidies. Research shows that less than 1% of subsidies by the United States government goes towards the production of fresh fruits and vegetables, while the majority of the subsidies are given for meat, dairy, and grain production. This means that prices of healthy foods are significantly more expensive than the prices of unhealthy foods. We are also biologically driven to get the biggest energy bang for our buck. So if we have $5 in our pockets and are hungry, we are more likely going to purchase $5 in fast food rather than $5 for a bag of.
Okay, I have a question, right, about culture here in sociological imagination. In our culture, do we necessarily, when we have $5, or when we say we have, like, let's see the equal of it, like 20 Egyptian pounds? You have 20 Egyptian pounds, okay? Is it the average? Do we usually get, like here it's known in the US, you usually get, a meal of fast food, okay, like hamburgers and French fries. Do you usually, if you have 20 pounds and you really want a nice meal, do you get this meal in our culture? Let's see who's here. So, what do you think, Nuran?
Yes.
Yes, you do? Okay, it may be. I think I know that usually no, you get more the meal that we get is usually maybe maybe something from like rice, or a kind of rice, and next to it kind of like chicken with sauce or meat with sauce, or we usually get now I agree with you, because it is
But
usually.
I always choose rice and chicken and some
Yeah,
of
exactly. So we usually get KFC, or usually get like McDonald's or something, but also I think we also usually get in our culture, it's more common to get like rice or something next to it, like a chicken or sauce, or salad, right? Salad, like the usual salad, and then with it like a kushari, or like food, or the average actually depends. So 20 pounds actually it's a lot, so you don't get that, right? That's kind of cheaper, but you would get maybe pasta and next to it salad, or you would get which is healthier. So basically, I think that our choices in this culture for equal to $5 would be more healthy, in the sense that we're used to healthier choices. So in that sense, see, that also goes back. So in our imagination, if this, in sociological imagination, you know, maybe we're brought up in the sense of what we get in 20 pounds different than this one. Okay? So what we really like in that sense. Do you see? Okay, so here, obviously, this affects obesity and the obesity problem. So it may be in cultures that have better issues, that they have less obesity problems, but not necessarily, right? Because we said that it goes back to your imagination of what it is. Okay, maybe it's just eating too much, even if it's eating healthy. Or maybe no, it's actually eating a lot of starches and energy and fat, but if you eat salad and you do exercise, then you would lose weight. Okay, so this also affects us. So this is important to know. Okay, so do you see culture effects? Sociological imagination, right? So what messages are given to us, and how we form them, and how we see the society, really, from how we interact with society in the end. Now, for example, some people exercise is not enough, others no, it's enough. Okay, so obviously, with a problem like obesity, these details are very important, and use sociological imagination would help us a lot. Okay. So, do you have any questions, Nuran?
no thanks, miss.
Okay, great. Um, so, right now we will move on to back to the winter packet, okay, for the sociological imagination part. Please, if you like to watch this video, it's a very nice video, okay? It talks about the obesity problem. We may talk about it during the year, this year. I think it's a good idea. And relate to sociological imagination or other theories in social theory, okay, and sociology, and how we can deal with the problem and solve it. So let's go back to the okay, to the packet. Okay, the last part. Now, I did a lot of talking. Oh, sorry. This is okay. 1 second. Let me. Yes. Okay. So, okay, going back to the picture. How can you relate the picture to sociological imagination? Yes, Nuran, can you help us out here? How can you relate the picture to sociological imagination?
It's not healthy.
Yes?
It's not healthy.
No, the picture, can you see the picture? It's the Christmas tree and the snow, remember?
No, can't see.
Okay, so how can we relate it? This is another, you know, kind of concept for sociological imagination. So how can we relate to sociological imagination?
Miss, I cannot see it. I can see
Can't
the.
see? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you for, okay. Let me share. Okay. Okay. Okay, so can you see it right now, the picture?
Yes.
Okay, great. So how can you relate to sociological imagination? After what we talked about in the video for obesity, for example, we said the different messages that elicit to us and how it affects us in our choices of food, of exercise, of what we do in different socialization, of how we think of others, okay? So what about in this case? How can we relate to it? Let me give you a hint, the Christmas.
They
Yes.
are celebrating in Christmas.
Excellent job, yes. So what we think of Christmas, right? Okay?
Mm.
So how people imagine that, you know, how we think of Christmas and how we categorize it and organize it in our heads. What is Christmas? How do we celebrate it? Obviously there's the Christmas tree, there's the snow, right? So because it's snow at that time, the Christmas tree looks differently for the winter, okay? And also you have the city, right? The cars and everything else, and how we put the Christmas tree in the middle for everyone to see. Okay, so everyone is celebrating um, the um, the Christmas event, right? And the Christmas celebration, okay, and the lights and everything else. So this is also how we perceive the you know the tradition of Christmas and the celebration of it. So obviously, if it's in Egypt, it would be different, right? The Christmas tree itself, the design of it, okay, and as well how how we see Christmas, okay. Like for example, usually we like to picture next to it, okay, and in other cultures, not necessarily. Now, sometimes no, you have it; that's not there. But sometimes no, you find like people come around it, like to picture. In this case, it's just there, and it seems like they're very busy. Okay, so obviously, it's how they perceive the occasion and how it's like they organize in the sense of it's just there. Okay, like a needed decoration for the event. Okay. And obviously how we perceive society, this is a daily, a daily day, right? So it's like they're going to work, I guess. It's not like a kind of, Christmas event where everyone comes in and takes pictures and sings and everything else. Okay, so there's a difference here. What about does it look like it's in the center, right? The statue and everything, it's in the center of the city, and it's a cold city. So these are very important, right, to organize our thoughts and to understand the society. This obviously helps us out to identify, understand, and organize society. Obviously, in the end, it's more of how we perceive it and how the messages that we get from what's around us, okay, from the picture itself, right? Okay. Any questions? Any confusion here? Okay, so, okay, excellent job, Nuran. For the others that came in today, great job. But if you can come earlier, okay. I just want to recap for the announcements. In the Zoom session, please open up your camera so that I can see you. That's number one. Number two, please open up your audio. I want it to be more interactive, to have a more of your own perspectives. I don't want to talk the whole time. So from next session, we're hopefully going to start with the new topics for this semester. Remember, January 17th is the last day to turn in your late work, okay? Yes. Okay, great. And remember that you have the winter packet as part of trimester 1 grade. So make sure you turned in before January 17th. January 17th is the last day for missing assignments and homeworks, quizzes, and for the winter packet. Okay, if you did, that's great. You're on the right track. Just make sure you always, review what we talk about in the sessions so that you are ready and set for the quizzes and the coming homeworks and projects. You have the course Sonovia, which I will share right now with you. Yes. So let me open it up. Let's put it here. Okay. So the course Sonovia is basically you have the different topics. You will have the PowerPoint presentations, the quizzes, the homework assignments, the videos, and all the details of the course that you study from, and it's the same resources that we use in the first semester. The textbook and everything else is in the first box of the course Sonovia. Okay, these are basically the resources we will use. Okay, so basically you need to review that. Okay. Okay. Let me open up. Okay. Let's stop sharing here. Okay, great. So let us open up the course Sonovia. Okay, and let's share it here. Okay. While I open it up, I will leave with you the video of sociological imagination. It's so that you can finish it up. And think about how the social problem of obesity, we can approach it through sociological imagination. Okay, so yes. Let us, okay, so let's play it.
In sociology,
Here.
it's of the people around us. So we could say that we all make personal choices.
Yeah.
There's
Okay,
little
great.
to no access to local markets that would carry such items. Then there are government subsidies. Research shows that less than 1% of subsidies by the United States government goes towards the production of fresh fruits and vegetables, while the majority of the subsidies are given for meat, dairy, and grain production. This means that prices of healthy foods are significantly more expensive than the prices of unhealthy foods. We are also biologically driven to get the biggest energy bang for our buck. So if we have $5 in our pockets and are hungry, we are more likely going to purchase $5 in fast food rather than $5 for a bag of apples. While these are not the only social structures that contribute to obesity as a social problem, they give a clear picture of how society contributes to this. And of course, this creates more social issues. Currently, we spend approximately $147 billion on illnesses and diseases related to obesity. This creates even more issues when the cost of health care and health insurance increases because of obesity-related illness and disease. So we can say that society influences a person's behavior, and that person's behavior contributes to a social issue. What is another issue that you have typically described as a personal trouble that also has social factors that contribute to it? How do social structures such as government, economy, education, and religion contribute to social problems? And how does the sociological imagination help us examine human behavior?
Okay, so this is really nice. Let us stop it here. Okay, let's share the whiteboard just for 1 second. I just want to, just emphasis on one point that she said. Obviously, it's how society, right? So society and us, okay? How it affects our behavior. Make it bigger, yes. Okay, so how affects us, right? So society and us, so relationship between basically, let's make it in black. Okay, great. Here you have relationship. Okay, that's for sociological imagination. Okay, great. So the session is over. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the next class. Thank you so much for today. Okay, So see you next time. Bye. Bye. Bye, Nuran. Bye, everyone. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.